Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm going to be filming a review for you guys, more specifically a series review, and the series I'm going to be reviewing today is Rebel Belle by Rochelle Hopkins. The series includes Rebel Belle, Miss Mayhem, and Lady Renegades. These are all very short books, no more than 300 pages. The first one is actually 350, but the rest are all under 300, and they read really fast. I read this series in a week. Today I will be giving you my thoughts, feels, and opinions on these books, and I will be suggesting things for you, telling you how I felt, and basically just reviewing them in a more basic form. So just to guys let you know, this is a completely free spoiler-free review. If it would have been individual books, maybe I would have included spoilers, but this series is so short that I just thought, let's do a whole review, and so let's just get into it. I will be giving you a general premise of this series. So we start off in Rebel Belle, and it's homecoming, and we follow the point of view of a girl called Harper Price, and basically Harper Price is president of everything. She is in every committee. She is very smart, very popular, and she's kind of a princess. And in the very first few chapters, there is this scene after she's trying to put her lip gloss on at homecoming where the janitor at her school is dying, and he transfers his powers onto her of a paladin, and a paladin is sworn to protect an oracle, and it just turns out that the oracle she's sworn to protect is also her enemy. And it's very funny. It's supposed to be funny because it's this princess protecting her enemy, and it's just an awkward situation, I guess you can say. And the series follows her discovering her new powers, learning to cope with the fact that she is now sworn to protect her enemy, and just going through this adventure. The first book concentrates a lot more on her discovering herself, him discovering himself, and there's a bit of plot to it. The second book, however, does follow more plot, and it goes straight off from when the first book ended, and they deal with the consequences of the first book trying to figure themselves out. And the third book, someone goes not missing, because that also happens in the second book, but someone runs off, and they are basically trying to find them. So that is basically an overall summary of the series, and now let's get into more of my opinions. Now, to start off, I will say this because I do think it may help some of you. If you guys enjoyed Vampire Academy, I do think you guys will enjoy the series. Although I don't think it's as good as Vampire Academy, I think it has similarities. So I think if you're looking for a good transition book after Vampire Academy to go into something new, I think Rebel Belle is perfect for that, because it's not as intense as Vampire Academy, but you get the same vibes, I guess you can say. So I just want to add that in as well. Now, moving on, I am very upset to say that I did not personally enjoy this series as much as other people did. I know a lot of people thought it was funny, and a lot of people just enjoyed it, and I also heard a lot of people say it went downhill after the first book. However, in my opinion, the first book was my least favorite, I would say. I just generally didn't feel that many emotions reading this book. I just thought it was kind of okay to me. What I do like about these books is that they're all really short, so you fly through them. It's just, I kind of felt emotionless. I guess also what didn't help is I can't really relate to Harper in many ways. I just thought that she was too much of a princess for me, and she kind of got on my nerves. And so yeah, but the main reason I did not like this book is because I felt like they weren't concentrating on anything. And to get into more detail, I think every book should have a focus. So for example, Throne of Glass really focuses on the problem with the king. And then there's a whole bunch of side stories and a whole bunch of side themes going on, like romance and training and action and all these things. but I found Rebel Belle didn't really have a focus. So there's humor, there's romance, and there's action. And I thought all three of them were very mildly done. And personally, I like it when there's romance in a book, and I felt like this series is what their focus should have been on, because although there was a bit of light humor in it, I feel like if the relationship between David and Harper or Press was a bit more intense, I felt like I would have understood, because at a lot of times Press seems to be sacrificing so much for David, and she does a lot of irrational decisions for him, but their relationship doesn't seem that strong in my opinion. I felt like it went from hating each other to dating to loving in bricks. Like there was no transition between the three, and even her and Ryan's relationship in the beginning of the first book, I also felt like it was very pushed aside, and I feel like if her and David's relationship would have developed better, the series would have been more interesting, since it would have been like a contemporary with a bit of something else. If not, I found the plot in these books to be kind of boring. Nothing really happened that was that dramatic, but all the characters seemed to make it that big of a deal. Although they were saying that all these bad things can happen, you kind of knew they weren't going to happen, and I just felt like the plot wasn't that big, and it could be very possible that I have just been reading Throne of Glass and that plot is so intense that maybe reading this I would have been disappointed. But I finished Finding Audrey and I wanted something light but that could get me back into action books, so I figured Rebel Belle would be perfect, but it was just missing a lot. And another thing is, a lot of people seem to love the humor in Rebel Belle, the first book, and thought it diminished. I didn't find myself laughing that much in these books personally. I could always make a recommendation of funny books I thought were, but these books just weren't my favorite. If you guys were curious, I believe I gave Rebel Belle 4 or 3.75 out of 5 stars. I gave Miss Mayhem 3.75. And I gave Lady Renegade 3.75 as well. And I would say the whole series is 3.75 because I don't want to rate it lower, but I don't want to rate it higher. I'm kind of in this blah stage. I'm not disappointed I read them. I mean, the cover pages are just gorgeous. I love how they look. I'm really not upset that I read these. I do not think they were a waste of time because they're just very light and easy reads. It's kind of like a filler, I feel. If you're just looking to read a book, you're not looking for in-depth characters or in-depth plot or a huge romance that'll get you emotional. You just kind of want to have this book that you can read and just follow a short story. I think you guys this is what you are looking for. However, if you're looking for something juicy and emotional, I do not suggest this series. But despite saying that, at the end of the second book, I did find myself more emotional than other books. And I don't think it was because of the characters or the way Rachel Hawkins wrote it. I just think because me, myself, being in a relationship, if this happened to me, I would have been upset. But mind you, my relationship feels a lot more serious than the ones in these books, and I think that was a problem with this series. Again, repeating myself, I just think there was no focus to them. There was no thing that Rachel Hawkins was really trying to push us with. The plot was lacking, the humor wasn't always that great, and the romance felt kind of kiddish. I felt like it was puppy love, and I just couldn't relate to it as much. So yeah. Anyways guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this review. I am not bringing down Rebel Belle whatsoever. I did enjoy reading them. It was fun because although I didn't like them, they were kind of short, so that was a motivation on its own. I do recommend reading them because a lot of people tend to like them, and don't become biased on my opinion. It's just I feel like it was missing something. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye guys!